Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. It is indeed Thursday. I'm Peter Martin. Thank you very much for your company. We've got three and a good lineup today in the studio. Alan Ruff, Gordon Smith, and not only have we got a good goalkeeper and a good midfielder, we've got a great striker in Steven Dobie from Queen of the South. So, it doesn't get any better than that for a lineup, and here's what we're going to talk about. Yeah, lots to get our teeth into, and the main driving force is, of course, the speculation that Alex McLeish will be sacked as Scotland boss. No confirmation coming from the SFA, but this story is no smoke without fire for me, Ruffy, because quite simply, there's a clamour to get rid of him. The SFA have said that they are not, at this moment, planning any meeting today to chat to him, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the axe will not fall.
No, it doesn't, and obviously, like everybody else, sometimes people read between the lines, and obviously journalists need to break that story before everybody else. I hope that is the case, that they're just trying to jump ahead of everybody else. I still think Alex due at least another couple of games to rectify it. I do think we've got players coming back that would make that team better, but Alex knows every game now is a pressure game. He needs to win them. You know, obviously the Belgium games, you're going to give him a bit of slack, but obviously Cyprus is a must-win, and it's unfortunate because nobody in football wants to go into big games like that with that kind of pressure. So I really do hope the journalists that are writing that are just taking a stab in the dark.
Yeah, I'll be fair, by the way. You know, the story emerged in the Daily Record. Keith is a good operator when it comes to stories like that. It's a big one to call as a stab in the dark, Gordon. I mean, at the end of the day, there was detail there about potentially, obviously, rumours that have been going on for months about Alex's health. Something's happened in his specific in the San Marino game, which has alerted everybody to the fact that maybe they're considering a change. Now, if they are considering a change, the one thing I would say is we're living in a culture now where quite simply everybody wants everybody sacked yesterday. 2, 3 games, 4 games, who cares? Sack the manager.
Yeah, that is the culture we're living in. And I think, Alec had a lot of negativity towards him when he got the job, Alex McLeish. So I think that that came to the fore when he got the job, and then they didn't start the group, the campaign very well. And then he got the team through to the playoff. So we're in a playoff, which is a strong position to be in before this group stage. But then all of a sudden, what happens is we lose the first game of the group stage, and the negativity came back. People were just waiting, I think, to take their turn to have a go at him. They want him out. There's a large number of people. There's 2 hard games coming up now. I agree with Ruffy. Why not let the guy see how he bring other players back in, put a team forward, taking us forward to try and make sure that at least by the time the playoffs come about, we're a better Scotland team. Now, whoever comes in, say, for these 2 games, they're hard games. If we lose those games, does that person get the sack as well then? Let's wait and see what happens. I'm not quite sure whether they would move, but they don't actually need to have a board meeting in order to make this decision. All it would require would be people taking a consensus, making phone calls round, and if the board members in a majority were saying we need to change the manager now, then Ian Maxwell would be targeted with having to do that for them.
Yeah, Stephen, I look at this situation now. Another manager might come in and might get the best out of the players, but I think it's grossly unfair to Alec that he's not given the chance to try and get a team together that's his team.
Yeah, I think, as obviously Gordon says, we're in a playoff position, so we've still, regardless of what happens, we've still got a chance. But sometimes it works. You bring another manager in and it lifts the place with the enthusiasm and just works better with players. But with Alex obviously getting them in the playoffs, I think it was a bad result against Kazakhstan, but we've still got plenty of time to turn it around.
Yeah, another thing about it, Ruffy, and I'm going to be brutal about this. Got no time for players to call off for whatever reasons. There are some that are legitimate. I think you've got to cut some players some slack, but there are too many of them now deciding it's just not good for their profile to be playing for Scotland. It's not, the best time when the teams are not playing well. But we have players that can come in. I accept what you're saying, but I don't think we've got top drawer players, Ruffy. I think we need to be a side that's built to be difficult to beat. I don't think we've got the players that can take the game to other countries.
No, well, I think we've already discussed that the majority of the players, particularly in the midfield area, are young novice players finding their way, in the game. They're all top players at their own clubs, and if you look at, where we were, I mean, we spoke about it, that England game last year, there's only one player left for that, and that's Armstrong. All the experienced players have all gone. They've just disappeared off the face. So the best we've got is obviously we've lost Alan McGregor. We've got the boy Bain in, who's got one or two caps under his belt. Obviously, if you get Tierney and Robertson back, that's a start. We're still stuck in the centre-half position. There's nobody shouting for the heavens, you're not picking him. And the midfield, I think, is good enough to win games, against Cyprus, the McGinns and McGregors, Armstrong, they're top quality, and McTominay as well. So the striker one's a big one for us, and Gordon Strachan touched on it. Big teams have big strikers that win games for you. When it's nothing each, they're the ones who can hit the target and score a goal. We've never had that.
Yeah, I'm going to be slightly scathing in your assessment. I think, Stephen, we've got players of a certain level. I don't think they're top quality. And when Alex was there first time around, he had a Paul Hartley, a Scott Brown, a Craig Gordon, a Steve McManus, a Gary Caldwell, a James McFadden. But what he did was he set the team up so they were difficult to beat. To beat France home and away, it was backs against the wall. It wasn't this flamboyant, free-flowing, Barcelona football. He made us difficult to beat. I think that's what we have to do as a country at the moment.
But I think you touched on it, when that was, we had like Faddy, or we had Kenny Miller, who in the big games could score the goals. And I think at the minute that's where we are struggling.
Yeah, I mean, I look and I say to myself, 2 set pieces against England. Lee Griffiths scores 2 cracking free kicks, Ruffy. When we were at Wembley, the 2 of us were in the tunnel after the 3-0 defeat. We were done in by 3 crosses into the box, 3 set pieces, and Gordon Strachan said, well, what can we do? We've got 2 centre-halves that can't defend and can't pass. Mm-hmm. That's where we are.
Well, that is where we are. So that's why. That's why
even Stephen didn't like that assessment, but it's brutal. But Gordon was honest.
Yeah. But that's the I think we have to keep our feet firmly on the ground. We're not a great side. We've got young players still learning their trade at international level, and let's not kid ourselves on. Putting on that Scotland jersey on. They might be playing with Rangers or Celtic or somebody in the Championship, but you pull that jersey on, you're representing your whole country. It's a different pressure that all of a sudden you're being thrown into. And I keep mentioning the boy Callum McGregor. We've thrown him into captain of Scotland, and he's a young lad, that is doing tremendously well with Celtic. But what a pressure that must be for him to pull that jersey on and be the leader on the park when he's just replacing Scott Brown, one of his idols. So it's all about, I think we just have to wait our time and let these young players, find their feet. Obviously, hopefully we win our home games against Cyprus.
I think what's quite important at times is, and this is a problem we have at the back, sometimes you need to, I think we've got 2 excellent young players in Bates and McKenna, but sometimes it's better if you've got an experienced player as one of the centre-backs, and he brings on another one. You look at, Stephen Presley, when he was at Hearts, what he did there. David Weir, a great example, that kind of player. You've got Berra as well, now, who's that type of player who played in the last game. Even Mulgrew played in that game you were talking about against England. That level of experience, Scott Brown's in the midfield, we're lacking that. And that's what all these players are learning the game at international level. And I think that was the problem, certainly against Kazakhstan. We could see it. Yeah. They actually lost, I even think they lost their momentum after the goals went in. It looked as if the whole team had just collapsed at that point.
Well, if he does indeed lose his job, here's the odds on the new manager. You can give us your views on it. Gordon Strachan, going back to Gordon Strachan, I can't see that happening. Davy Moyes 3-1, Steve Clarke 8-1, Malcolm Mackay 8-1, Derek McInnes 10-1, and I think they've just thrown Craig Levein in there for an extra little picture. To be perfectly honest with you, Ruffy, I don't know.
Well, I said Davy Moyes right for the start, but we all know Davy wants a club He's still young enough to do it. So for me, I'd take a chance in Malky Mackay.
Okay, it's open to debate. You can give us your thoughts on that. How about this week's question? Do you know the answer? Seems fairly straightforward, the quiz. If you get it wrong, just go back to Monday's programme when I announced the actual answer on the air by mistake. You could still win yourself one of our team T-shirts. Steven, it's been an unbelievable season for you, but strangely enough, Queen of the South find themselves battling to get away from the bottom end of the table when you've scored 38 goals for them.
Yeah, it's been hard the last couple of weeks. As I said to you earlier, sometimes you get the high of the cup when we beat Dundee 3-0, and then you go to Aberdeen and trying to come back down for that, especially the young group of players we've got. Sometimes then the results don't start going wrong for you because you're trying to kind of emulate that high, and hopefully this weekend, the next couple of games, we'll turn it around.
Yeah. What would it mean to you to break Queen's all-time record? You're on 38, 41 I believe is the record.
Yeah, it would mean a lot. It's been, obviously Queen's have been excellent for me over my whole career, and to break that record would be great. But it's actually Nicky Clark, he's the 41. So when we played Dundee United and we were just about to kick off, he was like, you better not break that record. And I was like, I'm going to break it today. But it would mean a lot to me.
Yeah. I think you will. How many games you got left now?
8 games.
8 games. I think you'll get 3 goals in your 8 games.
The way I've been playing lately.
Are we allowed to put money on it, by the way, just as an insight? Yeah, it's well worth it. 3 goals more to get.
Because I'm a great admirer of this man, a great goal scorer, and you know, I don't care what you say, even in a team, as you said, Peter, not doing that well, to score that amount of goals is tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, sometimes players save the best to last, but is the goal against Aberdeen up there as one of the best ever?
Yeah, probably with a strike, but as I said to you earlier, it didn't mean anything at the end, so you come off thinking it was a good goal, but it could have been a tap-in.
That was like a Ken McLeish statement, remember he said that? He scored a great goal and he said it was a meaningless goal.
It was.
It sticks in your head, you know, but the good thing is if you're on maybe 39, 40 in the last game you get Thistle, you'll get the 2 or 3 that you need to be perfect.
There's Ruffy in goal.
Yeah. Don't rule it out, by
Give me a chance. Give me a chance.
Queen of the South, Dundee United at the weekend. Can you get yourselves out of this rut? Is it down to the fact that you haven't got the players to sustain the injuries as well?
Yeah, we've got a few of the experienced more boys back now, and we haven't been playing that bad. We've just been, as I say, maybe my goals have dried up and we're losing a corner in the 85th minute, and then so it's been like 1-0s, and so if we can turn that round with the older boys back now, I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm not even thinking about relegation.
Yeah, okay. The Hibs boss Paul Heckingbottom's come out and said he's got no time for plastic pitches. Hibs obviously placed Livingston on Friday. What's your take on it? Because you've played in the top flight in the Premier League in England. You've played in the Championship down there. You've played in big playoff games. The general consensus among players, do you think it should be in the top flight, first of all?
I don't really mind it. I think, obviously, when the boy Murphy went over and did his cruciate at Kilmarnock, then that's how it all kind of came to light. But I think when you've got the likes of Falkirk's and Alloa's, if Kilmarnock's was like that, I think it would be much better for the players.
Yeah, it's one of those conundrums consistently, Ruffy. You know, a lot of players, PFA, have come out with a statement saying they don't want it in the top flight.
Yeah, I think we always just start talking about it when Gordon's in here, because Gordon's got definite views of it. We know why it's there. We know Gordon talks about the young kids. I'm sure if you want kids to be playing as often as possible, that's the surface that's best for them. But I think in the top league, it's got to be grass, really good grass, because even our club have got the fibre stuff. It's quality stuff to play on. I mean, even you get a chance to walk on it, it's brilliant. So if it's really, really top quality grass, I think that's what we should be playing on.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I've said that all along, that if it's good grass is the ideal scenario, but a lot of teams don't have good grass, even at the highest level they didn't. So therefore, when AstroTurf came in, and the plastic surfaces, as they call them, some of them, the quality's getting better and better though. Yeah. It really is. It's getting softer. As long as the underlay gives it a bit of bounce in it, the players aren't going to get injured. And as you said there though, that injury made a big fuss about the Murphy injury. There's been a few injuries of late on grass, but nobody says anything about the fact that it's on grass when somebody gets injured. Yeah. As soon as they're injured on AstroTurf though, it's, that's the problem, this is what caused it. I think from the kids' point of view, football all the way through, but I'd say at the very highest level, I would agree that I would say good grass at the very top level.
Yeah, okay. You could dedicate, many a programme to it. Listen, I've got to ask you guys, just to give you a little insight, because you're younger. In 1976, I think it was Uli Hoeneß missed the penalty. And the next penalty for the Czech Republic was Vitor Panenka. And basically, if he scores it, the Czech Republic win the European Championships. It's as simple as that. So in 1976, he walks up and he dinks it over the best goalkeeper in the world at the time, Sepp Maier. It's then called the Panenka. Now, let's move forward to the 21st century. You are going to take a penalty for St Mirren, who at times have been struggling to buy a win, one in the last 9. And Simeon Jackson tries to dink the goalkeeper and, he makes a back end of it. I mean, what do you say as a player, as a captain, as a team member?
Yeah, I think, obviously, I don't know the boy, but for me, if I was wanting up to take any penalty, I would never do it, because I think if you miss it like that, it's quite disrespectful to your other teammates and the manager. And so I think you just do it serious and you try and put it in the corner. If the goalkeeper saves it, then...
Which side?
The left.
But what did the goalkeeper not dive? Is that how he saved it?
The goalkeeper dived, and it was so lame a kick that he got it with his foot and kicked it away.
Did he?
He never even got it off the ground.
All right, yeah. Because I once, when I went to Austria for enough, Peter, we played a friendly match, and somebody did the Panenka free kick, and I was talking to somebody later on who spoke English, and I said, that was the Panenka, and they went, that was Panenka. He actually took the penalty and he did the same. He chipped it. Yeah, I didn't know it was him.
But I think
it was. I'll give him all the credit. See, that day when he did that, I think it was magnificent. Because a small country like Czechoslovakia against Germany, and he's got the bottle.
Germany, who are the world champions at that time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's got the bottle to just go up and chip that ball down the middle for the crucial final penalty. I thought, fantastic.
Yeah, if it comes off,
you're wonderful.
Yeah.
Did Lineker not try it and it didn't work?
Yeah, I think
Guy Lineker once did it.
And somebody missed it at Hampden. Did somebody know one of this? Was it Inverness or something like that? Somebody tried it.
It was a Dundee United player. I think it might have been Willow Flood. I might be doing him a disservice. I apologise, Willow, if it wasn't you. But somebody tried it as well. Listen, the other aspect of it as well is if you're Pirlo, fire on. You've got the ability, you've got the calmness personified, and of course then you can do it. But if you're struggling at the bottom end of the table, suddenly you've just got to blast it and hope for the best. Small matter of Celtic Rangers coming up at the weekend, Stephen. Scott Brown says, first defeat in 13 to Rangers, time for a wee bit of revenge. They've got the bit between the teeth. This one is such a crucial one for Rangers to try and stay in the fight.
Yeah, I think especially with still 2 Old Firm games to play, I think if Celtic win this, then I think that's it, over and done with. And Rangers will be thinking, if we can get this, we're back in it, especially with still to play at Ibrox, so it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Scott Brown obviously hailing the return of Neil Lennon as manager.
Peter's dealt with that really well. He knew Brendan was leaving, and there was also another man that kind of just left Hibs at the right time and was in the right place at the right time, and it's been a great opportunity. It's been great to have him back as well, and he's been fantastic the last 4 or 5 games for us, and he's spurred the lads on in the dressing room, and his team talks as well, but he's happy to be back here. He loves it, and the passion that he's got for Celtic and for football is brilliant, and it's shown out there on the field for us as well.
It's been a smooth transition, Lennon, coming in with the departure of Rodgers. That could have all gone pear-shaped.
Yeah, but he knows the players off by heart. The players know him. It's an easy entry through that dressing room door. And as we know, Celtic are going for the 10 in a row. Believe it or not, Rangers are trying to get 55. But there's somebody in here today has actually made 54.
Yeah.
54, yeah. That you last year, Peter?
Honestly, I mean,
Age in a year.
I have to tell you right now, Duran were in the charts when that photograph was taken in Depeche Mode. I do not understand why I kept that up on my Facebook page. Yeah. Anyway, there you are.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, lads. Just out of curiosity, briefly before you go, prediction for Sunday?
0-0.
0-0 from Gordon.
Yep.
I'm going to go 1-0 Rangers.
1-0 Rangers. Ruffy, there's no point in you making a decision now because tomorrow you'll be on the programme and you can change it. So we will find out of you tomorrow. Thanks very much for the birthday wishes. Really looking forward to the rest of the day. I just wish I was celebrating being able to play football and score 38 goals in a season. You never know, I might see Steven Dobie on the stage at the PFA Player of the Year Awards. I certainly hope so. That'll mean he's had a good finish to the season. Thanks to Steven for coming in. We wish him well. From Ruffy, Gordon and myself, thanks for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.